Hey, all you magical beings out there, welcome in or welcome back. My name is Tara. I've been reading tarot for over 2 decades. My intentions are to shed light on the unknown and provide confirmation for what is already known. Take what resonates and leave the rest. So grab your snacks, your crystals, or your cat, and let's see what cosmic mischief is about today. So the pre-shuffle for this reading, the main topic is Mars collective consciousness. So what that means is anyone who heavily has Mars aspects in their chart, anything aspecting the planet Mars prominently, or if your sun sign is in Aries, your rising, your moon, things like that. Or if someone in your life that's significant has those things. So that's the main topic, or the general topic. Now, what the main message that's come out is that this person we're talking about is in need of releasing control, basically, and allowing the unknown to take hold in their life and be okay with it and allow all the blessings that the universe has to come in. So Spirit has also said that there's some type of romantic obstacle in this person's life. And so, for example, that could be a lover is being wrongfully imprisoned, or you desire a false counterpart. We'll elaborate more on that with the tarot later. Okay. Another thing that was brought up is the conflict involved in this situation revolves around evaluation issues and the need for analytic hierarchic mechanisms. So what that means is basically actually looking at what's going on in your life from a more logical perspective. Is this working for me or is it not working for me? Does this make sense? Weigh the pros and cons, and to develop some type of scale for yourself where you can easily do that with anything. And specifically, this is talking about a romantic partner. And potentially there could be the need for litigation to be involved in this situation. So if this is someone you're married to, or if this is a close family member that's struggling, that has these heavy Mars aspects, then they're going to need to resolve this issue. They're going to need to get litigation involved. So some more things to pinpoint this person are, so I used my Sims 4 traits cards. So we got lazy, unflirty, and poetic. Lazy says these beings gain powerful moodlets from watching TV or napping and comfy furniture, become more quickly fatigued from exercise, grow tense when performing household chores. Unflirty gets tense around flirty beings, seldom gets flirty themselves, difficult for them to be romantic in public. And then we got poetic, has the ability to write the book of life, a book that can bring any being who's passed from this realm back to this life, i.e. a ghost to a physical human vessel. So that's really interesting. So whoever this being is talking about, whether that be you or somebody else, they're pretty powerful. or you're pretty powerful. So we also got for the North Node, Sagittarius North Node. So lessons and rewards around themes of exploring the unknown, pushing your personal and spiritual boundaries, releasing the need to always be right, and learning how to be more present in the moment. And then for your blessings, for your Selena White Moon blessings, we got Aquarius, a good team player, a fighter for human rights and liberty, or has made significant scientific discoveries in the past, meaning like in the past life. So then in this life, the blessing is that this person is helped to successfully explore the world, conduct scientific research, study astrology, and make good friends. So those are some pretty solid blessings we got going on here. So one of the values that came out is individual security. And we're going to elaborate more on that as well with the tarot. Some beliefs in action that came out was cultural and artistic expression can lead to censorship or suppression of artistic expressions deemed inappropriate or heretical. So that really ties into the whole unflirty thing. Basically saying this person's poetic, they have these talents, but they're inhibiting themselves from creating artwork that could really be so beneficial to humanity. And the other belief in action that came up is coping and resilience may encourage passivity or reliance in fate instead of proactive problem solving. Potential for disillusionment or crisis of faith when beliefs are changed. So I feel like this is calling out the need for more of the analytic hierarchic mechanisms to be proactive in problem solving, not to just leave everything up for fate. But I think there needs to be a balance here, because being comfortable with the unknown and losing that innate desire for control to where it becomes toxic, and then you have these obstacles because like you don't want to let somebody go, for example, but they're not good for you. And if you were to evaluate it, you would see that easily. And that also comes out here in the motivations and goals. We have keeping what one has no matter what, avoiding certain death, stopping an event from happening, obsessively pursuing a relationship, fitting in and being accepted by others. So what we need to do here is basically let go of whatever toxic relationship or relationships are in our life and be comfortable with the unknown, even though it may be scary. And the fear of death is coming out here. So basically saying like this person's holding on to this relationship because they don't want to die alone or whatever. But I think the focus of the attention really needs to be on the poetic ability, the artistic expression, because like that card was saying, I mean, in the game, in the Sims game, you actually make a book of life if you have that trait and bring a dead Sim back to life. But you could do that in a figurative way as well by honoring the memory of someone by creating poetry about them, by creating this, by using the artistic expression and unlocking that aspect of the way you express things, to be able to go into that genre of relationships, because like the unflirty trait might be preventing you or this person from doing that. And then we got fitting in, being accepted by others. So to me, that's talking about just trying to make other people happy, even though it's not benefiting you. And again, it comes back to that fear of being alone and fear of the unknown, and that really needs to be addressed. So then we also got, as far as the stakes at hand, we have death, psychological, professional, or physical versus life. So person versus society stakes. Becoming who they want to be, person versus self stakes. So we have like an identity kind of crisis going on, where this person really wants to explore that deeper side of their artistic abilities, but they're holding themselves back because they're trying to fit in and be accepted, and they don't think that they're going to be accepted. And then we also got remaining in ignorance versus gaining knowledge and wisdom, person versus God stakes. So that's basically saying, like, instead of actually evaluating what's going on, creating that analytic hierarchic mechanism, we're just ignoring, the reality of the situation, no matter how stark it is, and just continuing on instead of stepping into the unknown of what's on the other side, no matter how scary it may be, and gaining the knowledge and wisdom that we need to gain. So another interesting thing that came out was the setting, I guess, or not the setting, the plot. The plot for this whole story we got going on here was folklore. So traditional beliefs, customs, and stories of a community that are passed down orally from one generation to another reflects the collective memory and experiences of a people over time. So to me, that ties into the whole poetry aspect with immortalizing someone or even just a whole movement in society, because then we also have this death, psychological, professional, or physical versus life, and it's person versus society. So I feel like this person is really meant to create this piece of artistic expression here that's going to be passed down from generation to generation and represent this collective memory from a specific time period. So, and then I don't think I mentioned about Poseidon. So with Poseidon, that came out as one of the beings that's prominent in this reading, which is interesting because he's the god of the sea. So to me, that's basically, we're going to clarify on that more, or elaborate on that more with the tarot. But to me, that's basically saying that he's coming forward to help whoever's involved in this reading to kind of cool down the jets with the fire energy and kind of balance out what's going on here, because it seems like we're going from being too just careless and not like going with the flow, but like there is no flow and it's hurting us, versus kind of like being too stuck in our ways. I don't want to say analytical, because that's what you really need to do, but being stuck in our ways. So there's like this weird kind of energy going on, a combination of energies going on, and I feel like the water energy would help balance that out. You can also like wear colors that represent water, If you're into painting your nails, paint them blue. Carry around stones that are like lapis lazuli. I mean, that's actually usually associated with Jupiter, but any type of watercolors is good to cool down the fire tones. Okay, and then lastly, before we move on to the tarot, a page in this book, the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, number 87, came out, and it really ties in perfectly to everything that we just talked about. So I'm just going to read this page. It starts off cut off with the word creation of new manifestations. Without uncertainty and the unknown, life is just the stale repetition of outworn memories. You become the victim of the past, and your tormentor today is yourself left over from yesterday. Relinquish your attachment to the known, step into the unknown, and you will step into the field of all possibilities. In your willingness to step into the unknown, you will have the wisdom of uncertainty factored in. This means that in every moment of your life, you will have excitement, adventure, mystery. You will experience the fun of life, the magic, the celebration, the exhilaration, and the exaltation of your own spirit. Every day, you can look for the excitement of what may occur in the field of all possibilities. When you experience uncertainty, you are on the right path, so don't give it up. You don't need to have a complete and rigid idea of what you'll be doing next week or next year, because if you have a very clear idea of what's going to happen and you get rigidly attached to it, then you shut out a whole range of possibilities. So I feel like that's a really beautiful message to take into consideration with all of this. And now we're going to move on to the tarot for some clarification. Oh, wait, one more quick thing. I forgot about the quotes that we pulled. So these could resonate to someone specifically. This is just like spirits, what they wanted to say. Take what resonates. If there's a message here for you, it's for you. So you think you know me, but you have no idea. So basically, like, to me, in regards to this reading, that's talking about the romantic obstacle and saying, like, you think you know the person you're with, but you really have no idea. You're having evaluation issues. You need to evaluate the situation more. What on earth happened here? To me, that's like anybody looking on to the situation from the outside, your spirit guides, your family, friends, what have you, is basically just saying, like, what the heck happened here? Like, you know, like, you were doing, like, so much better before whatever got in your way with this obstacle. She doesn't know how to truly love you. So, I mean, that speaks to itself. So, I mean, this could be somebody's, like, wife, somebody's girlfriend, fiance, what have you. And yeah, I mean, it could also be talking about yourself, like you're not truly loving yourself because you're allowing this conflict into your life. You and your loved ones are safe. So to me, that's just saying, like, you know, giving you a nice little boost up there with confidence that, like, you're gonna be okay and your loved ones are gonna be okay. And then that's not very nice. And the next one, how much of that did you hear? I feel like those are kind of together. So it's like saying maybe you overheard somebody talking, like the romantic partner, that's the obstacle. They weren't being very nice. Maybe you said something not very nice about yourself or somebody else. And it's basically saying, how much of that did you hear? Like, you weren't really meant to hear it, or you're missing something. There's something you're missing in the message, that either in this reading or something that somebody said in your life recently that you're misinterpreting, or that, like, because you didn't hear it properly, basically. All right, so now we're going to move on to the tarot. Okay, so now we're moved on over. So, alright, so we're moving on to the tarot. We're going to pull a couple cards, try to clarify everything, and then we're going to close out the reading. Hopefully this helps somebody. Alright, so we got the Nine of Cups, satisfaction. You are the one, authenticity. I mean, that speaks to itself right there. Being in reversed, I think, and the whole thing with the romantic the obstacle regarding a romantic relationship, saying like this person is not the one and you need to be authentic and true to yourself, and they're not being authentic. Like it was saying, you have no idea who I am. So one of Pentacles, that's like the Ace of Pentacles, abundance. And then perception, the hanging one, the hangman. So now we're gonna pull some more tarot, and then I'll get into this. We gotta clarify on the clarifiers. So what is this Nine of Cups satisfaction about? Hierophant. So higher learning, spiritual practices, that's what like the North Node in Sagittarius was talking about. So to get that satisfaction, to dive more deeply into the North Node of Sagittarius. So authenticity, Queen of Swords, so maybe dealing with a air sign in the reverse, somebody who's cold, calculating. This can be your confirmation. Ace of Rods, Ace of Wands. So the abundance is blocked. The manifestations are blocked until you step into the unknown. The Hanging One, perception. The Emperor. So having a better perception of yourself. The perception is skewed. It's in the reverse. It's not healthy, the perception that you have of yourself. Alright, so for the You Are the One authenticity card, I'm going to read from the book for that one just because it's a special card to this deck. It's not included in like the regular tarot. So I already, said my whole spiel on how it relates to this reading, but I feel like this definitely further elaborates. So it says, I want you to believe that there is no one more special and unique than you. You embody everything that outshines and distinguishes you from the rest. Love yourself. This beautiful maiden is an outcast to the people in her village because of her physical attributes, which are very rare. The gods and goddesses blessed her by giving her a red streak across her eyes, platinum hair, and light skin, as opposed to the people in her village who have black hair and dark skin and a black mask across their eyes. To them, this maiden is cursed and will bring nothing but bad omens to the village. And to me, that goes back with the whole insecurity of fitting in. Nonetheless, the maiden has disregarded the villagers' senseless assumptions and has traveled to another village where there she will be accepted and loved for her unique attributes. So that goes and ties in perfectly to this Nine of Cups satisfaction. I believe this is saying that you will have this satisfaction if you go and travel and spread spiritual knowledge and dive more deeply into your spiritual path. And the traveling is very important, and you'll find your tribe, you'll find those that actually really love you. So in reverse, this card implies pretending to be something you are not for acceptance or personal gain. You're lying to yourself in order to be someone you are not. You want to fit into a particular group of people, and you will do anything to gain approval. There you go. Wow. Yeah, so just stay clear of this Queen of Swords energy, that cold, cutthroat, calculating, self-serving energy, because this person is rubbing off on you and making you become someone that you're not. You're meant to be this teacher, this traveler who's learning and growing and in this like free spirit energy, stepping into the unknown of all the possibilities available to you. Okay, so I'm also going to read from the book for the hanging one, perception, because I feel like it's important. So it says, look within yourself. You hold the power to do anything you please. The only question I have for you is, where will you invest your power? Within the bright wilderness where strange and unearthly monsters dwell, we see a beautiful and sensual maiden. The swing upon which she sits and swings is unlike any other experienced before. The swing is something real, something legit. Only those who are willing to change their point of view, the way they see things, or those who want to gain powerful and deeper sight are allowed to swing on it. You see her happy and content while she swings on her swing. But little do you know that this maiden, at one point in her life, never saw things for what they really were. She only saw things that were convenient to her, and never made something meaningful out of her life. But then she took it upon herself to start seeing the reality of things, to accept what she could and couldn't see. So that's, again, like accepting the unknown, taking a step out, and taking chances in life, no matter how scared we are. The maiden took a ride on that swing and changed her life around for the better. So, in a reading, this card represents seeing things, this is in the upright, from a whole different perspective. Don't lose yourself within an illusion or become a slave to people who are nothing more than holograms. So that reminds me of like Dolores Cannon, like background people. Maybe this person you're involved with is like literally like a background person. Like they don't even have a soul. Learn how to distinguish what is real and what is fake. Additionally, learn to sacrifice old points of view to be able to gain a new point of view. See things such as people and situations for what they really are. And that, again, that ties back to that quote that of the dialogue cards that came out that said like, you have no idea who I really am. And like, you are, what does it say? You are one. Authenticity. I thought it said like, you are the one. You are one. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. So, and then in regards to the Emperor, in reverse, the Emperor talks about structure, authority, order. So, like, you have this power to do so much in this world. Do anything you want. You can literally bring the dead back from life with your words. and you're denying that power. So I want you to really think about that, or whoever this reading resonates for you for, maybe try to help them understand. So I'm just going to throw some astro dice, get an idea of where we can, I'm going to do it 3 times. So pick a number 1 through 3. That will be your placement in your chart that you should look into to help you guidance with this situation. So we want to look at the 4th house. We want to look at the moon sign. And the last dice we have is Cancer. So that's interesting. That's actually crazy because the 4th house is Cancer. And we have the moon and we have the sign of Cancer. So we got a lot of moon energy that's really needs to be looked at here. See what's in your 4th house. And again, that's with the water. That brings us back to Poseidon. We need to balance out the fire with the water. See what's going on with your 4th house. And how you can remedy that if it's in detriment. If your 4th house is in detriment, your moon sign's in detriment. See how you can remedy that. Okay, and then we're going to do it 2 more times. This is group number 2. So we got the 8th house, which is Scorpio. Death, rebirth, transformation. We have Gemini. And we have Uranus. So Uranus brings me back to the North Node in Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus. And we got the 2nd house, Gemini, communication. 8th house, transformation. Death, rebirth, sex. So there's something going on in regards to the 8th house with communication involving your, I'm going to say it has to do with the North Node. So yeah, just look into those aspects in your chart and see what resonates for you based on the message of this reading. So also, like, the 8th house is like the unknown, like all things mystical, magical, all of that. And Uranus is also like very like random, and like, so those 2 energies combine. And the communication with that, yeah. Okay, so that's your message, number 2, and this is for number 3, group number 3. So we got the 1st house, which is ruled by Aries. Then we have Capricorn, and then we have Mercury. So Mercury, the planet of communication. Capricorn's like hard work. 1st house is like action. So yeah, just look in your chart, look at those placements, see what's going on. There's something related to this reading that's in your chart regarding those. Look where your where Mercury sits in your chart. If you have any Capricorn placements, and the 1st house, which is that fire energy. So there's something going on there. And again, if it's in detriment, any of those things, to look into remedying them. Okay, guys, so I think that about wraps up this reading. We're going to ring the bell to close it out. Spirit, I ask you to close out this reading. Thank you for providing all of these messages. And I truly hope that whoever's watching, you gain something from this that's meaningful and helpful. Have a great day, guys, day or night, and catch you on the next one.